He'll regret it later. Okay, so welcome to the Microsoft Teams and Bot and Graph session. We really appreciate you coming to this. I know it's day 3 and your brains, if they're like mine, are totally overloaded with information already, but I hope you left enough for this session because we're going to show you some cool stuff. My name is Jeremy Thake. I'm a Principal PM inside the Microsoft Graph part of Microsoft. This is Nick Kramer.
Hi.
He's a Principal PM inside of the Teams side of Microsoft. As I just mentioned before we started, this is a series of sessions we're covering the Microsoft Graph in. Photo ops right now. Again, we will be sharing these slide decks, so you don't have to awkwardly take photos of all slides. They will be available right now on the internet. There are also 2 other Microsoft Teams sessions which will go into more detail about the other aspects of extending Teams. We're focused very much on bots Teams Graph today. But there are great sessions by Larry and some of the other team talking about things like tabs and other aspects of it, which you've all missed unless you were there. We have a theme this year that we wanted to all play cosplay, and clearly I didn't do the whole dressing up as a pilot thing, but the idea being that we wanted to simulate building apps for a particular fictitious company, as in Contoso Airlines. And those numbers are totally made up, so there's no point in even explaining those. But what we wanted to highlight is that with those series of graph sessions, we've been talking about different shapes of apps that you might build as Contoso Airlines or as your own organization. And today, we'll be covering how you build bots and agents. Now, the Microsoft Graph is extremely broad and extremely wide, and this is a great eye chart to highlight that what I'm going to show you today is essentially that we're going to be building bot apps. We're going to be doing a lot of device code and single sign-on aspects of how you get the user's identity once the bot is launched. We're going to be using some adaptive cards, which you saw me talk about in the keynote, and you saw Satya talk about in his keynote, rendering things directly into the bot. We're going to be in C# today, and we will be using a lot of the REST APIs inside of the graph. Now, the main problems that this Contoso Airlines has is the notion of most of their employees are on the go. They're traveling, they're at the gate, they're annoying people because they want to change a ticket or give you cold food. And they need to have a place to collaborate that doesn't require them carting around a giant laptop everywhere. Most of these people, if they're lucky, they're giving a tablet. If they're not so lucky, they're using their personal phone. And they really don't want to be told every week that there's a brand new app they need to go download and install on their mobile device. And the IT guys don't want to manage pushing those things out and handling all that, and then retraining that user to work on whatever the app has been built. So Teams is great from that consistency perspective of once they've learned how to use the UI of Team once, they can communicate with lots of different applications without necessarily having that overload of having to learn a new UI and understanding how that thing works. The 2 scenarios we're going to tackle today as problems is handling lost baggage quickly and then effectively managing a Q&A during an online meeting in Microsoft Teams. The reason we pick these is it tends to use a lot of the new tech that we have across the graph and Teams to kind of show those problems at large, and they are also something that, although it's lost baggage, there's a lot of escalations that you might do within your organization where you could take this framework of the sample app we've got and spin it to map to what your business problems are in that sense. So although you're all probably not from an airline, is anyone from an airline here? That would be amazing. Yes, there is at the back there. You can take our code, go home, and look awesome to your boss on Monday. So Nick, do you want to tell us a little bit about Teams and why we should be thinking about Teams? Like clearly it's being beaten into us build, but there must be good reasons for it.
Well, because I work there, right? Isn't that a good enough reason?
That sure is.
Teams is our hub for communicating using both chat messages and calling, and allows you to collaborate using all those Office apps you've come to expect, SharePoint, Excel, PowerPoint, Planner, the whole 9 yards. And it has a great way of integrating your own tools, which is what we're here to talk about, or at least part of that way of integrating your own custom tools. And with all this comes all that Office goodness you've come to expect around compliance and security and such. So the Teams platform has a couple major components. There are, I'll call them commands and actions. We won't go into those too much today. You'll see just a tiniest little bit of that. Bots and connectors is where we'll go deeper. Allow you to do a conversational-based thing as well as a card-based UI conversation, if you will. There's tabs, which allow you to put your own pixels into teams. And then there's graph, which is, of course, our favorite thing here. And graph is really interesting because it's an API you can use with all the other models. You can put graph into your commands, have your commands call graph APIs. You can have your bots call graph APIs, which we'll do. You can have your tabs call into graph APIs. But graph APIs can also be used outside of those things. You can also just create a random website that's not inside Teams that calls graph APIs for Teams. You can have your UI list service call into graph APIs. You can have your command line apps call into graph APIs if that's your thing. And in fact, that was our thing because we did that in the PowerShell commandlets for Teams. They call graph APIs. So you get the same graph APIs there. All right, with that, yeah, it was an interesting sound there, then bling.
Hopefully everyone's okay backstage.
Exactly, there's nothing going on back there. One of my favorite things to do with the graph APIs is to automate team life cycles. So you can, using graph APIs, create a team, add some members and owners to that team, because what's a team without people in it? You can configure some settings on there, get the channels in there all set up, install apps into your team, put some tabs into those channels, and really have a fully ready-to-go team just created from an API, just a couple clicks away from the end user to have a fully functioning team. And when that team has run its life, you've chatted on it, you've communicated for a while, you've shared files. When that team has run its life, you can then archive or delete that channel and team all through the API. So let's take a quick look at this in action. Let's make sure I got the right of several demos going here. So Contoso Airlines likes to create a new team for every flight they fly, which, as you can imagine, adds up to a lot of teams over the course of a lifetime because they're flying hundreds of flights a day. It would be really tedious to be typing all those hundreds of flights in by hand. So they've created a graph app to spit those teams out every night, create some new teams every night. At the stroke of midnight, they like to run it. It's on some little server in the corner in there. They do it at midnight when no one's around using application permissions. And then at the end of the week, they will archive all the previous week's teams so they don't accumulate and just create spam in your mailbox or your left rail, we like to call it. So let's see how this works. Which of the many tabs did I put this in? There we go. So we have a nice little app here, just a nice little console app to visualize what's going on here. And we'll press the magic Create Team button and walk through what happens. And let me get the teams up and running so you can see things in motion. So first step is we need to get an authenticated client using Graph. That's your standard pass in a token, basically, and then you get back your SDK client. Next step is to figure out who we want to put in the team. We've already decided that we want the captain in there and the admin in there. We will need to turn those UPNs, user principal names, into a graph ID. So I'll show you one example of that, then we'll skip over that code from there out. So this is, again, like to create ourselves a graph client. We have a couple of them running around in this sample. And you just retrieve the user, graph.users UPN. You can pass the UPN in as the index for the user's collection. Then you issue a request, or you get the request object and tell it to get, do an HTTP get. And that gets back the user object. And from that user object, the only part we're actually going to care about is the ID property in that user object, but it gives you the whole object anyway. Get that back. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? So we have the owners of the team. We also need to figure out the members of the team. So we're going to get the flight crew. We're going to do the same operation of turning UPNs into object IDs. And now it's time to create a team. We need a display name, mail nickname, description. Visibility is private. It could be public. We chose private. Group type, mail enabled, and security are going to be the same for all teams you create. But the idea here, I missed a step here. Why are we creating a group if we want a team? The reason is that groups are the thing that holds everything together. Teams go inside groups. SharePoint files go inside groups, OneNote and Planner go inside groups. So the group is really the container that holds all those different resources that your team's going to use. And every team has one group. A group can have 0 or 1 teams. And to show how closely connected those things are, they have the same ID. The team ID is the same as the group ID. All right, so we pass in that. We also pass in the owners, and this is kind of a funny syntax. Ultimately, we need to serialize something of the form owners at odata.bind, and same thing with members, members at odata.bind. And the way you do that is the SDK has an additional data property on this object that basically says, if you find something I don't know how to serialize, why don't you put it here as a string, and that'll work. And so the parameter you pass in there is the full URL of the user. So Microsoft.com/users or /v1/users/ID. Pass in that GUID. All right, do that.
And actually, while he's showing that, last time when this was shown at Ignite and the build, we weren't using the SDKs with Teams because back then Teams was in beta, or beta, depending on where in the world you're from. Now it's in V1, but the Microsoft Graph SDKs now have a NuGet package for the beta APIs too.
Yeah.
So you can kind of juggle between the two NuGet packages and have everything kind of strongly typed directly in C#, JavaScript, Java.
Yeah.
And so this particular OData bind thing, Daryl, the crazy guy in the giraffe suit down in the expo hall, go give him a high five. He's actually working to make this a lot simpler so that right now we're kind of working around OData a little bit just for this one scenario we found with Teams. But in the future, this will be what you'd expect in an SDK.
Yeah, it's really fun working with the SDK now after having done so much raw HTTP for a while. All right, so we've created a group. Next step is for us to put a team in that group. And we'll have, we could just put a blank team, literally just new team, paren, semicolon. But we'll also get clever here and change a few settings at the same time. We'll set it up so that guests are not allowed to create, update, or delete channels. And when we create that, we will, if we're looking at the right window, we will see Flight 157 has just popped into existence. Let's go over here. And let's add some channels to that thing. Nice and easy, new channel. You need to specify display name and description. We're going to do a pilots channel. Inside that channel, it'd be even more fun if we had some tabs in that channel. So let's put in a map of the channel, put a tab that has the map of the airport they're going to go to. So display name equals map, additional data equals, here's another one of those funny OData things. The OData is going to be the ID of the application. In this case, the ID is not a GUID, it's the ID of the application literally is com.microsoft.teamspace.tab.web. It's a website tab. For all tabs, you need to specify these 4 magic properties. These are the same 4 magic properties you specify if you're using the Tabs SDK to create the tab. Tabs are basically a glorified iframe. I know the Tabs guys will hate me for saying that, but think of it as an iframe.
And you might not have a job when you go back to Redmond.
Yeah, exactly. I'll get a lot of glares. So basically 4 things in there, though. There's an entity ID, which is whatever your tab wants it to mean. There is the content URL, which is the HTML you show in the iframe. There's the website URL, which is the HTML you show if someone doesn't want to see it in Teams. They want to click the Show in a Website button. So you can point them to the same HTML or to different HTML, depending on how you feel. And then the remove URL is an optional URL for what do you show in the UI when someone takes down that tab. Do you want to show a little dialogue that says, whatever you want to show. Would you like to delete the underlying data for that tab as well, would be an example. All right, so armed with that data, we have now created a tab. Just show that off here, go into the right channel. And now we have a map. Contoso Airlines likes to fly into Redmond and land right here on 156th Avenue.
Clearly you're not showing the traffic overlay on that one.
You got to dodge the lights. You got to time it just right. Really pretty impressive. Let's do a little SharePoint stuff too. So we can get at the SharePoint site. Have a little retry in there in case we do it too fast. There is a, you got to occasionally allow for workloads to catch up with each other. We'll create a list. So we got ourselves a site. We will create a SharePoint list. Inside this list, we're going to pass in a set of column names. We're going to do a name and a seat number and a notes column. And then we need to add at least one item to this list, otherwise it's going to be a really boring list. And then let's create a tab for this so we can see this inside Teams. So same process we went through before. Just pass in a different display name and a different URL. Let's see what we created over here. All right, so over here we get challenging passengers list. Apparently we have sign-in dialog. That wasn't what I was expecting. All right. Trust me, if I signed this in and looked up enough IDs, you'd get a list of passengers.
I was wondering whether you had a gag for me in there or something, because last year I buried Una in the challenging passengers in the list, and she still hasn't forgiven me for it.
Oh, you're still employed at least.
Phew.
All right, I'll turn it over to you here.
So what Nick just showed you there was essentially how you can use just the Microsoft Graph APIs with the Teams endpoint to do a bunch of stuff to manipulate and provision a team. You can do other things other than create tabs. You can deploy apps and lots of other configuration stuff in there. We see a lot of customers using this already to spin up for certain incident management aspects, or in this case, we're doing it per flight. There's lots of things that you could do as part of existing business processes to go create these things. CRM is another big one. CRM record goes into a CRM system that has a webhook, then calls an application like Nick's built, which then goes and spins in those teams. Now, the other aspect that we wanted to show today, when this is kind of the rest of the scenarios now, is more around the bots. And as a few hands went up at the beginning, some of you will be familiar with the bot framework. And clearly, the bigger the slide with the more stuff on it makes the product, where it is today. But if you kind of squint your eyes on this slide and focus on the right-hand side here, what I really want to focus on is this notion of skills. Satya and Rajesh both explained this in their keynotes this week. If you haven't watched both keynotes, I'd highly encourage you to do that, where we talked about skills. When I first heard about this, I was like, this is going to be so much overhead to get these things up and running. And the team have done an excellent job with Bot Framework 4 to really make this process even better than what it was with V3. And as of yesterday morning, even better again. So I spent a lot of yesterday refactoring what we had, which was V4, but to the latest bits they announced at Build. And so I'll walk you through a little bit of that journey so that people are already using the framework are aware of some of the newer things that they've added into the framework here. But there are essentially two ways to start with the bot framework. Up until yesterday, I would have told you option 2, which is interesting, which is good news. There's just permanent improvement here. They have an approach where you can download a VSIX template, a VisX template, which essentially adds a new file, new virtual assistant into Visual Studio, which I'll show in a moment. And then there's a bunch of deployment scripts you run, which will then publish that into Azure. Now, the virtual assistant requires some moving parts in the cloud. And as I'm demoing calling the graph, which is in that cloud already, it doesn't really impact you. But there may be scenarios where you don't want to depend on the cloud when you first start building with the bot framework, and there are ways to remove those dependencies in that template. It uses Cosmos DB by default as its configuration and state store. That can be quite expensive if you're playing in a dev environment and you have $150 a month through your MSDN subs. So there is documentation on how you can take away that dependency so that when you're developing, you're just doing in memory. But they recommend Cosmos DB as the way of storing state in your bot when you push this into a production scenario. The other approach, which I've used up until kind of really this week based on the improvements that they've made, is that I would go into Azure, search for a bot service, and create the bot in the cloud first, and then actually export that project down and run that locally. And then any changes I made to the local copy of Visual Studio, I then just publish back into Azure. And I wonder how many people are doing one right now with the bot framework. This is audience participation time. That light is destroying me. How many are doing 2? Okay, and then afterwards I want to find out what the others are doing. So the way you create your virtual assistant, and those are backup slides, so let me go live, is that if I go over into my laptop here, okay, great. If you go to github.com/Microsoft/ AI. You'll see the bot framework solutions page inside of GitHub, and this is just the README. And if you scroll down, sorry, not that far, you'll see that we have this notion of skills. And if I just open that in a new tab, in this skills section, it explains the architecture and how it does the authentication and the skill flow and the different skills manifest. But if I scroll up a little bit, you'll see that we have these virtual assistants and these samples, and then how you can add your own skills as well. Now, I've already got that open, and so what you'll see is that they provide these deployment steps, and you have to follow them through. And the key thing with this, if I go back to the deck, is that when you do file new in Visual Studio, I kind of clicked F5 thinking it would just work. But in the deployment script, you'll see at the top, you do have to you have to run the script to then deploy it in Azure. And then when you F5, the deployment script actually changes some local files in your Visual Studio project to hook it up to those dependent Azure resources. Cosmos DB, every bot has an application registered. So if you're familiar with how you register an application in Azure to do graph calls, the bot requires an app ID as well. And the good news is that same application can be used to bot registration as well as for calling the graph and adding scopes. Once you have that installed, essentially you can F5, and then I'll show you on my screen what we have here in my environment in Azure. So the way it does it, once you give it all the names in the config, and excuse me for being a little bit small, is I've created an assistant here, and this is all the resources it creates. So now you have Skynet in Azure. Come on, it's not that late in the conference for that not to be funny. I was expecting that one at least to get a chuckle. But okay, it's not Skynet, it's just how. Oh man, all right, I'm giving up on my jokes. You'll see that there are quite a few resources in here, and there's a bunch of cognitive services aspects in terms of it's automatically giving a Q&A bot that's locked up. It's giving you a Lewis model to allow you to do some kind of intent and natural language understanding. And it's creating app services and search services to handle that together. This template is meant to be an enterprise bot. So rather than stating with a basic bot, which basically does nothing except return, hello, Jeremy, this one out of the gate is actually really impressive. And is a great place for you to start if you're trying to get traction with this inside your organization and show off some things. The real critical part here, honestly, is this web app bot resource. And in here, what this is doing, excuse me, when you run the deployment scripts, is if I go to settings here, it's configuring what's called an OAuth connection. And the OAuth connection is where all the magic happens. And what this does is, I love how my client's secret's in there. I'm going to trash this environment in a little while anyway, but please no one go in and try and delete this like you did last year, because that was not fun. Is that this actually uses the same bot ID to configure the OAuth connection that the bot uses. So when I go ask questions that requires me to go fetch data from the graph, this is the token that it's going to use. The reason I show this is right now I'm going to demo some things across calendar and people, but in the future maybe I want to do things against teams or I want to do things against planner. I would need to come back here and update the scopes and then click this magic button to reconsent this app with whatever tenant I'm demoing in to make sure that auth token has the required scope so that when the bot calls the graph with that auth token, that it actually can get permissions to planner or to teams or to whatever you're going to do. And Nick's going to show some of those scenarios later. That for me was like the biggest learning of this thing. But the other aspect of this is, if I go back to the slides because it's easier in a screenshot, is you can add skills very, very easily once you've created this scaffolding of this bot framework project. So in this case, there's actually a calendar skill which they've built that has been trained as a Lewis model. And so you can do things like either via text, or if the virtual assistant is deployed to Cortana or Alexa or other agents like Teams that we're going to show, you'll actually be able to use things like ask, is my calendar free today? And let it reply, likely story. You have 8 meetings today, and they're all an hour long. Welcome to Microsoft. But you can also do things like, when is Nick free? Can you schedule a meeting with Nick? Can we move the meeting with Nick to tomorrow? So that video that they showed in Rajesh's keynote, and I believe it was in Satya's as well, where you're like, that's a really nice marketing video. This skill actually does it. And the first time I saw it, I kind of was like, no, someone's like backstage human replying to me manually. It's actually using a Lewis engine, and it's calling the graph behind the scenes. And so the way you add these skills, and right now they have 5, which they've started off with, is essentially using a deployment script that's in that project folder, and they use add remote skill.ps1 with the name of the bot that you've deployed, and then you point to these manifests that they're hosting in Azure. These manifests basically explain the bot skill. So what Lewis model it's going to use, the connections and configurations, and so it's really, really straightforward. That little bit of line of code there will just add that skill into your bot, and immediately if you F5 that bot and ask it what's on my calendar, boom, it starts responding, which is really, really cool. Obviously, if the person who's logged into the bot has consented the bot to have access to their calendar, this skill isn't like just accessing everyone's calendars on the internet. We do respect privacy and security. Okay, phew, Sela will be happy with that one. The one gotcha right now, and they've ensured to me that this is going to be done by the end of the week, is if you try and run this add skill, make sure you are using the Lewis Gen 2.02 NPM package. There's been a regression with the latest version of the Lewis Gen that will break that script. And so I'll leave this in the slides just in case you do this straight away, but they're going to fix that after this week. So I've already talked about that secret stuff. And then once you have that bot running, which I'll show you in a moment, I just want to kind of walk you through the ways you can test your bot. So to start with the bot framework, when you deploy it, obviously if I F5, it's going to run locally on my machine. There's 2 ways you can run locally. When you F5, it can run in IIS and bring down the memory on your computer to a grinding start and give you 20 minutes of battery life. Or you can run it in a .NET console application. I personally prefer the .NET console, and I'll show you in a moment why. Essentially is because you get a lot more debug information in the console, whereas in IIS, it's kind of all black box behind the scenes. So you can start to see startup issues that you won't see if you run it through IIS. Once you have that, you can run it in the emulator. But for the demos that Nick's going to do later, we need to get this bot in Teams. And so to get a bot in Teams, you have to create a manifest. And we'll show you that in App Studio in a moment of how you hook up a bot to a running service. Now, Microsoft Teams doesn't have access to my computer, doesn't have access to Nick's computer. So really what you actually need to do is publish that bot into Azure Bot Service. And the way that you do that is just right-click inside of the Visual Studio project and click Publish, and it will push your bot into Azure. And then you can use that bot URL that's hosted in Azure to then connect to that in the manifest and have it running in Teams. I just found this visual is a little bit more than me running around a bunch of IDEs in a moment. You can do a lot in the emulator, but there's a lot of context that Nick's going to show later where you really need to be demoing in Teams. Now, the problem with that is then you've got to keep republishing your bot code up into the Azure Bot Service for this to work. You can attach to the Azure Bot Service debugger if you want to see any errors that you're getting. But there is a nice trick. You can use ngrok, which is a tool that allows you to have a URL in the cloud which will redirect to your machine. And so you use the ngrok URL in your Teams manifest, and therefore you can actually be running your bot locally on localhost, and ngrok just plays that redirect between Teams looking somewhere on the internet for your bot and you having that code running locally. There is a little bit of setup on that. The bot framework team have great documentation on that too. So there's a few options. Run locally with a bot emulator. As soon as you want to do Teams context, you really need to get your bot into Azure, or you can use ngrok. You can also troubleshoot code, which we've been doing for the last few weeks, by attaching to that debugger. So if I just quickly switch over here, what you'll see in my code, if I open up my emulator, is that I already have this running. I would recommend, and I think I can zoom in on, maybe not. What I'd recommend is that you create different endpoints. So I have a production endpoint and the developer endpoint. You're going to need to, when you create your production endpoint and your developer endpoint, add in the configuration of the bot, your application ID for your bot, and there's the password again. I'm definitely going to have to trash this environment. And then once you have that running, basically that means that your bot is able to do these things. Now, rather than you watch me type for now, you'll see this beautiful bot logo when you first run the virtual assistant. And the first time you run what's on my calendar, it's going to use an OAuth card. And depending on what agent channel you're in, there will be different experiences. In the emulator, it will pop up a normal window Microsoft identity prompt, and I'll just put in my credentials for Megan B, which we've been using all week, which is part of those M365 tenants you get for free if you sign up for the Microsoft 365 dev tenant. And once you get that back, it'll actually answer the question for you. So visually there, it's telling me that here are all the events on my calendar straight away, and it's giving me a nice visual code. So from that one deployment script to add the calendar skill, I'm immediately able to ask all these types of questions. Now, the wiring in of your own logic after that essentially is that if I go to my code, I have to close that zoom now, is that when I look at my code here, there is this notion of dialogues. And if I open the main dialogue, every time you ask a question, the bot framework basically throws you through a route. And it tries to work out whether it's identified a skill before it throws you into other things like Q&A Maker and other Lewis models. So if you've added the skill of calendar, if it has realized that I've asked what's on my calendar, it knows, oh, you've asked a skill question, so I'm going to route you to the skill. But if you don't get through the skill, it can do things like understand whether you're just asking general questions where the bot is cute and says hi and we know who you are. Or it can go into things like Q&A Maker where it can map to a Q&A model you've built inside of Azure. And again, this is not necessarily a bot framework session, but I'm just highlighting from a graph perspective what we're doing. And then essentially what we're doing from here on out is that if it doesn't get caught by any of the skills we've added to this virtual assistant, we're throwing it into our own graph dialog. So if I just open this up, and then this is what Nick's going to be walking through further down, is we actually take a similar approach where we're going to run a waterfall dialog model where we're going to prompt from a command. And if we already have a command, so in this case, me is an example of that, we're going to then store all that information inside of there. And the nice part about this is because the bot is already authenticated, if I scroll here, we can actually get the access token of the bot, which has the identity of Megan from that sign-in, and use that to call the graph. And so from here on out, with the rest of the demos, we're in this graph dialog flow, which we rudimentarily for this example are using a wonderful giant if statement, but obviously you could do things with Lewis that knew that if I said, who am I, that it would work just the same as me typing in me and get that information back. So we were really trying to highlight the notion of that now we have the access token, excuse me, I scrolled past it, same code that Nick used in the app to create teams, we can now use that token to get a graph client and do whatever we want in that bot as long as the user has consented to it with the scopes inside of this bot flow. Okay, you with me? Because that was a lot. All right, I think we're good. So if I scroll back now over to my slides. So Nick's going to go App Studio in a moment. But essentially, now we've shown you kind of just the highlights of getting bots running, getting the graph connected through an out-of-the-box skill, and the notion of writing your own custom code flows based on being able to get at that same access token that the skills are using. But now we want to talk about how we can go further with those Microsoft calls inside of the bot. So over to you, Maestro.
All right. So Contoso has a couple bots they like to use that we showed already the provisioning example. Another thing that Contoso likes to do is for customer service issues, we like to create a new channel for some of those issues. Some of those issues are big enough and hairy enough you want its own dedicated channel so you can talk about it and share files and have a really rich conversation with multiple threads. And then eventually that issue is resolved and we can archive that channel off and move on to something else, clear up some left rail space. So one kind of incident that airlines have is occasionally, every now and then, baggage gets lost. I know this from personal experience. It's happened a couple times. So here we have a little channel here, or just our general channel in the customer service team. Have you seen Rajesh Jha's bag? And I hope we do find it because he is our boss. So a little bit important to find that. So let's get Flybot to help with this. So Flybot can offer a list of suggested commands here. I don't believe in typing, so I will pick a few commands here. And we'll start with new channel. Let's create a new channel for this issue. And so what we'll do, we'll start off by parsing a little card that we'll use later. And Flybot's going to do a couple things. It's going to, first, we are inside our main dialog.cs. So we have inside a bot framework v4. It's a little different in v3, but in v4, you have a bot. It's called a bot, or it descends from a class called bot. And then that's kind of your master thing. All callbacks come in through that. And then the bot turns around and calls a dialog. And the dialog helps you manage multi-turn conversations, back and forth. I asked you this, I needed to ask you back that. Here's the reply, here's the response, that sort of thing. And
a fun story here was Nick broke the code by, well, he didn't really break it, but by having the Teams context, well, maybe more than once. Yeah. And this is just a good catch, is that Nick's using the notion that assumes this bot's running in Teams, whereas I was actually doing all my dev in the emulator, which isn't Teams. And so the Teams context was actually coming back null. So when you use these helpers to assume that we're in Teams, you need to be aware that your bot could be deployed in not just a Teams context. It could be in an emulator, it could be in Facebook Messenger, it could be wherever you want to deploy that. And so you need to kind of get used to that kind of muscle of checking the context and not just assuming that just because Nick's from Teams that this bot's only ever going to be in there.
Yeah, it's only in Teams for me, It's an important place.
That's right, you're at the center of your universe.
That's right. Well, you'll see the demo, you'll understand why. It's hard for the app to actually do its job if it's not in Teams. All right, so first step is going to be to get the team-specific stuff. This command we executed was in a particular team. Let's figure out what that particular team was. So to get that, we need to go into the step context, has a turn context, which has a turn state, which offers this service locator pattern. So we're going to get the iTeams context out of that. And we're going to allow for the possibility that's null. Teams context might be null. And then we're going to get the team details. Team details is actually another HTTP call to go off and fetch the team details, and it makes sure you know that. Fetch details with HTTP message async. It's not a socket call. It has to be HTTP, apparently. All right. And that's going to come back with an object that will tell us the AAD group ID, which is another way of saying the team ID in a graph world. We can also get the channel ID out of there. And here's a place where you'll see some of this is a reflection of the fact that bot framework has an existence outside of Teams, is this next line. So from a bot framework perspective, bot framework doesn't really understand the Teams notion of channels. It understands reply chains, and it understands those reply chains must exist inside something, but it doesn't really understand what that something is. So the something that bot framework actually has is a big string that has both the channel name and the message, the root message ID. So we're just going to do a quick little parse of that. String.split along the message ID equals part. Take the second part of that. Not the prettiest code I've ever written, but it works. All right, now we're just going to hop through the various commands and see if they match. Is the command me? No, that's not the command. Is the command new channel? Why, yes, it is. So there's going to be three basic steps here. First, we need to figure out what we want to call this channel. Personally, I get a little tired of telling bots the same thing I just told a person earlier. Like a lot of times I have a thread and say, we should create a new channel for finding Rajesh's bag. And then we go, hey bot, do the thing I just talked about. And the bot goes, what did you just talk about? So I'm writing the demo. I get to fix that. we will actually look at the previous conversation in this thread and find who they're talking about. And we're going to take advantage of some of those Teams APIs for reading messages. So graph.teams.teamid.channels, channel ID, messages, message ID, get the message, get that root message. And then on the root message.body.content property, we're going to run our little natural language service that finds names. And this is really a glorified dictionary.
And just to point out, and this is a bit where it's kind of like, it's the bot and the API, right? The bot's in a conversation. I'm breakpointed into a certain part in that conversation, but now we're making a graph call to go get the rest of the conversation, which is something the bot framework doesn't do because it's all about turns and a conversation. So this is just one thing where you just step back and realize, oh, that's right. We're now taking advantage of the graph to go get more information about what's in Teams, as well as the fact I'm in the state of being at a certain point and turn in my dialogue.
And so in this example, I believe the root message is going to have the name. But if the root message didn't have the name, we'd go and read through all the replies to that root message and see if they have the name in there. So let's then create a new channel. We have our channel name. We know what team it's going to be in. Let's create it. And this is the same code we saw earlier. New channel, then you do graph.teams.blah, blah, blah, .request.addAsync, which is basically another word for post. And that'll create a new channel. And then in there, hey, let's add a tab while we're at it. Let's add some of the context that you're going to need to solve this problem. And then let's announce the channel. This is just a straight bot framework thing where we're going to send a little message. We know the hyperlink to the channel using the relatively new channel.web URL property. And so the way you do that is you create a reply activity, and then you actually send the activity, is how they think about it in bot framework. And so that's going to send a nice little message into the general channel. Created the Rajesh channel. All right, we're one step closer to finding our boss's bags. So click that, navigate to it. And now let's actually put something interesting into that channel. Like we have that nice tab in there, but it still feels pretty empty. Let's post some of the basic information about this incident into the channel. So we have an adaptive card. I parsed it from a JSON file, I loaded it in from a resource file earlier. Now it's a big string here.
And how did you build that, Nick?
Great question. Let me show you. Inside Teams, we have this wonderful little app called Teams Studio. It's just another Teams app. You can look it up. App Studio, did I say that right? And it's got a couple useful features. One is the card editor. And it's a great way to visualize cards you already have. Or a great way to visualize cards and show them in real time. By the way, I'll give a plug for Matt Hildinger's talk later in the conference. Oh, I can't do that one. And so you can see it in real time, though. Anyway, I won't type anything too interesting there, but it's a great way to write your cards in a way that visualizes it in Teams in a real-time way. Another thing that's real interesting in Apps Team Studio is a manifest editor. You can go in here and that'll actually keep in the cloud all your previous manifests you've uploaded. You can go in here and, for instance, if you're curious how I got those drop-down commands for the bot, this is where you put them in. There's a nice Team Studio experience. You edit your manifest, you click Update, and install it to a team, and away you go.
And also that screen where he says test bot there, that would be where you'd put the ID of the bot ID that was created from my deployment scripts too. Yeah. So that's that last step I showed in the slide with the manifest file.
All right, so we still need to do a card. So here's that card. Again, I designed this in Team Studio, put it in a resource file. Let's see. Somewhere in there I did a quick string substitution to pick out a couple of the key fields, put in Rajesh's name. And then the way we're going to turn that card into something we can post is you create a new attachment. You basically turn the card into an attachment, set the content type in the content property. We create a new message activity. This is going to be a new message a new reply chain in a channel the bot has never been to before. So we need to specify a few extra parameters. More often, we're replying to an existing message. Here, we're creating something from scratch. So we will create a message activity, add that card in as an attachment, and then we're going to jump into this function here that will take those IDs and create the necessary glue to get Bot Framework to tell it where to go, basically. So Bot Framework, again, doesn't understand Teams channels, so we need to give it a few hints. We're going to create a channel data object that says Teams channel ID equals the channel ID we care about, and that's going to be part of the conversation parameters. We're going to specify this is a group conversation, meaning not a one-on-one conversation. We'll let Bot Framework figure out what the bot is. It'll get that right. Similarly, the members, it'll figure that out for us. Activity is that card that we just created earlier, and the channel data is that magic Teams ID. We also need a connector client that is essentially our hook back to the Bot Framework servers. And we'll fetch that out of the turn context, has a turn state, has an iConnector client in there. And then we actually start the conversation. We actually create the conversation here. And we'll see that we now have something interesting in the channel telling people what they need to go solve. You know, it's not just a Rajesh channel, it's a Rajesh channel that tells you he's missing his bag and you better go find it. And so we can chat about this for a while. In the sake of time, we will not chat too long. We will find it right away. We can write a quick note back to Rajesh, and that wasn't working earlier. We'll see if normally we'd send a mail to Rajesh using Graph APIs. We can also go straight to archiving the channel. If you, some people like buttons and some people like typing. Command just disappeared. Let's try it over here. All right. Just what I was looking for. All right, and so, oops, one more breakpoint. That's why we're hung up here. Let's see if we get to delete it twice now. All right, let's archive the team, or archive the channel. There's just one basic trick here. Before you archive a channel, if you're going to do a demo, or really any real-world system where you're repeatedly creating channels and deleting them, and then creating them again and deleting them again, you want to keep in mind that these channels don't really disappear forever immediately. Teams keeps them around for, I think the magic number is 28 days in case you want to undelete those. And that means if you delete a channel called Rajesh, that name, Rajesh, is going to be in use for a while, for 28 days. That name is reserved. So what we want to do is rename it before we delete it. So we'll walk through this. Before we delete it, though, we're going to announce that we're archiving it. So this is just the same code we've seen before. I think we're now running the command twice simultaneously, so this should be fun. I
love the save the database of record debug.writeline, Nick.
Yeah. So part of archiving the channel, we want to get all the messages, and we'll use some of those graph APIs we showed earlier to read all the messages in the channel, and then concatenate them into a big string and save them off to our database of record. In this case, our database of record will be debug.writeline. We do things solidly here at Contoso. But you can put it whatever you want, store it in SQL Server, store it in the cloud. And then we need to figure out the old name of the channel. So we'll get the old channel, we'll get its name, its display name. We will then rename it. It will now be Rajesh something something. All right, if you run it twice in a row, simultaneously it gets into a weird state, so we'll have to start this over. But basically, I just appended a timestamp to the end of Rajesh's channel's name, renamed the channel, then I deleted it. So now the next time we create Rajesh channel, it doesn't conflict with the Rajesh at 10:49 a.m. on 5/8. So good trick to not trip on your own toes there. All right.
Awesome. And so what Nick showed there was really this notion of not just a bot running in context of Teams, but also the fact that it's using the Microsoft Graph to actually go and call Teams based on the context of the fact it's in a particular channel, having a conversation with a particular user. But Nick, do you want to show us a little bit about what's coming from a Teams API perspective?
Yeah, so let's give a brief rundown of what we already have before we say what's coming. So basic APIs in V1 today are available for all the team stuff you expect, members and owners and settings, creating in channels, reading channels, tabs, apps installed in Teams. We didn't even talk about the app catalog, but we also have APIs for publishing apps to your own tenant's personal catalog.
And
then some things that have recently been added. I'll let you just read that real quick. My favorite there is actually that last line there, application permissions for installing apps into Teams. That was our last major application permission thing we added. Really rounded out the scenario. And then we showed a couple of these APIs already available in beta. We showed the ability to list and read channel messages is available in beta. We didn't talk about sending channel messages, but that one's in beta as well. There's actually APIs for one-on-one messages as well for reading them. And then there's a great way. I did for my first demo there about provisioning Teams. I did 5 or 6 different HTTP calls. You can do that all in one using the new Team Templates APIs in beta, where you basically take all those different JSON payloads and stick them into one payload that really describes the entire team and its channels and its apps all in a single payload. So that's a nice convenience there. And then the Shifts APIs, whole bottom half of that, we have don't really have a time to dive into that, but we have a whole set of APIs for scheduling the shifts, really designed for frontline workers and allow you to manage the shifts, and also as an individual manage your own shifts, see what your upcoming shifts are, request a change to your boss, that sort of thing.
And then I guess one of the other things that we're working on at the moment is this notion that we've had this request on user voice, and again, we encourage you guys, if you feel like there's things that aren't there that you need to use microsoftgraph.uservoice.com to request them. And this is a great demo that kind of highlights some of the new areas of what we're working on around webhooks with Teams. So Nick, do you want to explain what this demo is?
Yeah, so common scenario is we have an all-hands meeting. The customer service team is spread across the globe, and they have an all-hands meeting online. And I guess we missed the meeting because we're the only ones here. But there's when you have these big meetings, though, you end up with a lot of questions and a lot of back and forth, and it gets kind of hard to keep track as the speaker. Have I got all the questions? Have I missed some? So Flybot can help us with that. As you can see, we may have run this before, but so we have a Q&A tracker that will use some of those read channel messages APIs to help you organize that experience. And so when we run Flybot Q&A, it'll send back this card. This card will then open in the browser to, here we go. And so it pops up just a random web page that uses those graph APIs to see what questions are in the channel and allow you to categorize them. It'll also take a look at how many people liked them. It can refresh this every couple seconds and show you the new questions as they come in and allow you to just track which ones you've answered already. How about lunch? No, I don't think we're going to do lunch during this meeting. When will this meeting be over? A very important question for us. And so that gives you an idea of some of the things you can do once we have better abilities for detecting new messages. The way I've implemented this right now is exactly how I encourage you not to do it, which is to poll every 10 seconds or so. That's not a real scalable pattern. We are in the process of building Delta queries, so you can ask about only new messages rather than all messages. And we're also in the process of adding webhooks. And so once we get that, we'll have some really powerful scenarios we can build in a way that's scalable for both you and for us.
So in that Q&A view.ch.html, you're essentially just listening to that webhook subscription for the channel, and then the webhook's notifying when questions come in the meeting.
That's how we want it to be built.
Yeah.
Currently, polling. It's literally refresh the page every 10 seconds.
So we just wanted
Not
to
the
give
best way to do it.
Yeah, we wanted to give you an idea about where we're going on that aspect around the webhook, so you can see that in the future coming through. And so, it just gives you an idea about the fact that we are on a journey and we are adding these APIs across user voice requests back into the service, and that this bot plus API is something that we definitely see this future of, where Nick just showed a web application that is kind of running side by side the bot, asking questions, and being able to integrate with that bot, but from a standalone application there. We have a lot of places you can reach us. You can kind of follow along on this journey on Microsoft Graph, hashtag on Twitter. Everything we show in these sessions is open sourced on Microsoft Graph in GitHub. That counts for all those sessions that we had. And if you have questions, we are monitoring the Microsoft Graph tag on Stack Overflow. We are onboarding a new team to monitor that with an even better SLA than we have right now. There's quite a few PMs that are monitoring that at the moment, but we're going to actually have dedicated resources to that, which is something I'm owning and being accountable to help you even quicker. I will say there's lots of breakout sessions here you can go track, and we have 5 minutes for questions. If you have any questions, can you walk up to this microphone, because we are recorded and we want to make sure that everyone can hear it. While people are walking up, I will show you back on my screen something, because I knew we might have some fillers if everyone was shy, is that in the bot framework, in that virtual assistant template that we showed, there are, sorry, this is really small. There are a few ways you can run that bot locally. If I get this magnifier out of the way. Essentially, when you run it, you can run it as IIS Express, but you can also run it as this My Assistant. If I do the My Assistant, what that is actually going to do, if I'm not zoomed in, because that just gets awkward, is it's going to run this console. And the nice thing, as I mentioned earlier, with running it in the console, is that it's going to give me a bunch of info of whether my bot's running and started up correctly. This is super helpful when you're running locally and you make changes to your code, or you've added a skill, or maybe you're not sure if it's broken or not. And so I would recommend using that over IIS Express when you're locally debugging. There's a question.
Hi, thank you, Jeremy. My name is Eric Ralston. I'm from an ISV called LiveTiles. This demo seems very apropos to your average enterprise developer who might be awakened newly to the bots. How might you construct this if you wanted to make it a multi-tenant application for multiple customers with multiple Teams tenants?
Good question. So in terms of multi-tenant, if I go back to my other Azure, the wrong screen, sorry. If I come over to my screen here, one of the things that we do in the bot aspect of when it's registered is that when this bot's registered, it gets that ID that I talked about. And if I go over to the settings of that bot, if I scroll here, there is actually, again, I'm going to have to really blast this environment now, this bot ID, which is manageable. And so when you deploy this bot ID, by default with a virtual assistant, it's, thank you. You have to use your imagination on this one. But in the app registration aspect, what it'll show you is that that's app organizational only. You can change that bot ID to work with both consumer and organizational account and be multi-tenant. In this instance, in the manifest for that application, I've made it so it's a multi-tenant bot. And so with this demo, we were doing it where it only worked in Megan's tenant, but you can change that broadness of the bot ID to be more broad to work across different tenants. What you have to take into account there is where I showed the OAuth connection at the bottom, and I'm not quite sure why it was, where we talked about the scopes, you'll want to make sure that you, in this case, we're using common, which essentially is consumer or organization. So you can lock this down to just your tenant ID if you choose. In this instance with a virtual assistant, it actually creates it as common so it would work across many tenants. Yep.
Yeah, it's actually pretty easy. It's so easy that I accidentally, when I was developing this, at one point had a 3-tenant solution by accident. I had the demo, the tenant I was actually trying to use Teams in, and then I had the bot channel registration in a different tenant, and then I had a graph app ID that was registered in a 3rd tenant. So you can run into fun stuff, and it actually works surprisingly well.
I love the Star Wars shirt. That's awesome.
So just a quick question with the demo you guys had here. So you had an app that was actually creating a new team for, in this case, every single flight.
Yep.
That just seems really heavy, like, because you create a team, it creates a group, creates a SharePoint site, it creates a OneDrive. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on under the hood. And I remember when we first started looking at Teams automation, the advice from you guys was don't do that. don't create teams on the fly and delete them because there's a lot of work that goes on there. So has that changed?
It really depends on your scenario. I mean, it's a pretty good scenario for airlines where you really do want a particular set of people involved in the flight. There is a limited number of teams you can have in the universe, but the number is about 500,000 per tenant. So you have a fair amount to work with.
It's 500,000 active at a given time. So if I create a team and then delete it, like could you create and delete 5,000 teams a day?
Same 28-day retention rule applies. That if you create, what does that work out to?
And
if
then
you're creating and deleting, keeping them around for 28 days, then I guess you can only create 50,000 a day. What does that work out to?
And then the other thing to bear in mind is like,
if
there's a lot of you I recognize from SharePoint days of, this notion of SharePoint and group permissions is the reason we demo creating a channel for that lost bag rather than the entire new team is that you don't have to manage all the security because it's within one capture of lost baggage, and I'm creating and deleting channels on the fly there. And there is a limit for channels, which I don't remember off the top of my head, but
yeah, I think it's 200 channels per team right now.
Yeah, and so you definitely have to incorporate that into your scenario and your design. But we are seeing a lot of customers taking this approach of creating something and then archiving it later on.
Okay, that's cool. It's good to know.
Thank you.
Cool. I think we are
excellent. We are
exactly perfectly out of time, but we will be around here to take questions with the mics off.
So thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Our jobs, if you could provide feedback on the build experience or the build app, just to give feedback on this session, whether you liked it, whether you thought the demos were great. We really want to learn for next year. So thank you for your time.